with the Division 1 recap here on Play on GAA. The first game we're going to look at is Tyrone, 18 points, Armagh, 16 points. Armagh are relegated to Division 2, and Tyrone, their biggest rivals, are the team that have done it. But this game was an absolute battle. These teams are very, very even. They were level 11 times before Tyrone pulled away to win this game by 2 points. Armagh now have to pick themselves up for an impending Ulster clash with Antrim in just a fortnight. Rian O'Neill's injury was well documented. There was a lot of rumours about what was going on in the Armagh camp. But Conor Turbot came in for him and hit 3 points in the first 13 minutes. Darren McCurry, Dara Canavan and Peter Hart all led the way for Tyrone down the other end. Aidan Forker was fantastic as well. He hit a beauty outside of the boot. That was the pick of the scores in the first half. Darren McCurry hit his fourth and the last of the first half to send Tyrone in 8-7 ahead at half-time. Ronan McNamee and Maddie Donnelly added to put Tyrone ahead even further before Stephen Campbell roared into the game for Armagh, leading them back into the lead. From here, though, Tyrone took over and pushed Armagh into their own half for the final 10 minutes, and points from Darren McCurry and Ronan McNamee got them over the line. Darren McCurry finished with 7 points as Tyrone relegate their biggest rivals. For Tyrone, they finished the league with a bang. You have to say, 4 wins. Potential, I know they didn't make the league final, but they would be absolutely delighted with how this league turned out. A lot of people were doubting them at many stages, particularly after the Roscommon defeat, and yet they've bounced back and they've had a pretty good league. I'll be very interested to see now, can they go on and win the Ulster Championship and compete for the All-Ireland? That would be a great way to indeed shut the doubters up. For Armagh, it's not great. It's not great at all for the Kieran McGeeney era there with Armagh. It's not great at all for what they're trying to build there, because you get this sense with Armagh that last year they were so close to getting into the All-Ireland semi-final, which they would have backed themselves to win, and then potentially an All-Ireland final appearance. They lose on penalties, and now they've gotten relegated, and it feels like this could potentially, if they don't manage it correctly, be a real death punch to this progress under Kieran McGeeney. He's been there since 2015, and last year was as good as I've seen Armagh in his reign, and I hope that they haven't peaked, because I really do like this team. The next game was the Great Escape. Armagh went down with Donegal, but Monaghan survived once again. They've beaten Mayo by 214 to 14 points away from home. They now secure a 9th successive year of Division 1 football. Conor McManus came to the fore again. The 35-year-old hit a goal and 7. His goal was the last kick of the game from a penalty. And Monaghan survive again. I mean, what can you even say about it at this stage? I definitely, if you watch the preview, we did pick Monaghan to win based off the fact that Mayo had a much changed starting 15. They had Jason Doherty at centre half back, which is something that they're never going to do going into the championship. Like, they've already, gone with the Loftus experiments at centre back. Doherty is one that came absolutely from nowhere. Monaghan got off to a great start in the 14th minute. Ryan O'Toole dispatched the goal for the Farney men. They'd already gone 3-1 ahead after 10 minutes, and that goal pushed them even further into the driving seat. They remained just a bit in front throughout the game. Jordan Flynn was fantastic for Mayo all throughout. But Monaghan at the other end had Stephen O'Hanlon, Conor McManus and Jack McCarran. With the last play, Henley got caught upfield and Monaghan won a penalty. And stopping a direct goal involvement was indeed Jason Doherty, and then McManus converted the penalty. Mayo march on to a league final now against Galway. They won't really care too much that they lost this game. They kind of, had one eye on the league final and then another eye on the Connacht Championship. But with the league final now, it will be interesting to see, is there an element of shadow boxing going on, or will both teams go for it? Galway haven't won the league since 1981. I think they're going to be desperate to win it. Mayo haven't won it since 2019. Maxey will also want some silverware. So I do think, especially considering the rivalry between the two sides, there's never a friendly against your biggest rivals. I think it will be one hell of a game. And Galway getting to that league final was only possible after beating Kerry by 113 to 14 points. A very, very impressive victory for the tribesmen, who had Damien Comer back in their side earlier than I expected him to be back, I have to say. Paul Conroy got a lucky goal in the first half that saw Galway lead at halftime by 1-7 to 7 points. He floated the ball in from 45 metres out, and goalkeeper Shane Murphy collided with the post and dropped the ball into the net. That proved to be the difference between the two sides. Rob Finnerty hit a beauty to make it 112 to 12 points with 10 minutes to go. Kerry did have a late goal chance. Killian Spillane blazed off the post, and then Bernard Power saved brilliantly from Sean O'Shea from the resulting scramble. Galway always stayed just a little bit ahead, and now they have a massive league final to play, as I was saying, and there will be a full preview coming for that here on Play on GAA, so make sure you keep an eye out for that. Damien Comer came on in the second half. As I said, he hit a crucial score in the 45th minute to make it 1-9 to 9 points, and I have to say, massive for Galway that they have Comer back. For Kerry, look, Jack O'Connor made no bones about that he doesn't take the league too seriously. They won't really care too much. They have David Clifford back, they've Sean O'Shea back, they've Paddy Clifford back. They're more or less at full strength. And yeah, I feel like they're in a good place. Maybe not as good a place as they were in last year, but definitely they're still probably the favourites to win the All-Ireland at this stage. The last game then in Division 1 was a pitiful showing by Donegal as they lose to Roscommon by 21 points to 9. And before going into this game, if you watch the GAA Statsman podcast preview that I did, do be sure to check him out as well if you have not. The content he produces is fantastic. We kind of expected that maybe Donegal would give it a rattle. Maybe they just go for it a little bit. But like, they just were awful in this game. The only period where they were in some way competitive was the first 11 minutes, where it was 4 points each. Owen Bon Gallagher, Jamie Brennan, Quayle McGonigal, they all looked sharp in those first 10 minutes. And you were thinking, okay, maybe Donegal are just going to say, do you know what? The worst has happened. We've got relegated. Let's just give it a crack here. And they didn't. From there, Roscommon completely dominated the rest of the game. They finished with 11 different scorers. The Murtagh brothers, Enda Smith and Ben O'Carroll in particular were outstanding. Keith Doyle probably hit the point of the game. He had a boomer to make it 12-7. And then Roscommon just pushed on from there, hitting 9 points to Donegal's 2 in the rest of the game. But for Donegal, the soul searching continues. I mean, I've made the video on Jim McGuinness. I think they should absolutely bring him back. It's a very similar position that he took them over in 2011. They were in Division 2. They'd just been hammered by Armagh in the qualifiers. Look at last year. They got eliminated by Armagh and they're now relegated to Division 2. It's a similar position. I don't think maybe he picking them up halfway through the season just before the championship begins he'll be able to do anything. But definitely for next year, Donegal should get McGuinness in and trust him because he is the best manager that they have ever had. That is just my opinion. For Roscommon, fantastic league. Absolutely brilliant league. 4 wins out of 7. You think about their first 3 games, they were absolutely magnificent. A lot of people would have picked them to go down, but Davy Burke has done a fantastic job there so far. And going into the Connacht Championship, you know, Mayo and Galway will be coming fresh off that league final. Roscommon could definitely be Connacht champions at the end of this